A 13-2 T-side turned 16-7 win. North taking their map pick over top of Fragsters. We saw one hell of a performance from both AZ and Valda, and all of North looked fantastic here in our opening semifinal.
Yeah, pretty fantastic debut to day number 3, the final day. Yep. And North's attempt here to try and win this event, right? They took the win at Tour just a couple of months ago, and now they're looking to grace the open circuit again with another victory and a different lineup as well. A stand-in that has been performing out of his mind, dragging through the best of 3 yesterday was Mixwell. And now, as you said it earlier yourself, this is his reward. A carry from Valda and AZ and destruction on train.
Yeah, as we move into Nuke, of course, the second map of this series, it'll be the choice of Fragsters. Understandable GG.bet odds here, seeing as North now have a map advantage, and we saw that they are most certainly hitting that skill ceiling. When you have 2 players fragging out that hard, it's just a reminder as to how good great Counter-Strike players truly are.
Yeah, and it's the embodiment of this North roster, right? It's like we know their skill ceiling. We know what this team can achieve. It's just like, are they going to be able to consistently do it? Can they put it up versus the best teams in the world? And at least here, at least today, yes, they are hitting that peak. They are showing us what they're really made of. And this is a very exciting game. I've really enjoyed that first map. I hope the second one's going to be as, exciting. Hopefully a little more back and forth as well. But after that game, it's so hard to bet against North.
Yeah, most certainly, right? Because again, if there was anything that Fragsters had to have going their way as they came into this series, is that North would have had a slower start, or North weren't necessarily as sharp as they could most certainly be, right? If it was Mixwell who had to carry yet again, then I think they could have had the capability to shut him down, because it's not like Mixwell is functioning within the structure of North, right? Remember, he enters the event and MSL tells him, do as you please. Play your game, and we'll work around you. Now, if Mixwell is unable to hard carry, that's fantastic. If Mixwell's not, then it does fall on that core, and that core is what we saw shining this morning. Not so much yesterday when they needed the Spanish stand-in to do his job. But now, well now, Hugo, they have exerted themselves as the very clear favorites here. They have the advantage, not only in form of a map 1, but of course, just in skill on top of it.
It really does show the skill of North that a couple of days before the event, they can switch out a player, but not just that, but switch the language that they're calling in. I imagine obviously there's still some Danish in there, but they're still having to call in English for Mixwell and still make it this far into the tournament, be 1 map away from the grand finals, and not even break a sweat while doing it. They've taken 1 map loss across this entire event so far. They've looked pretty damn good. So let's see if they can go the full distance, the full stretch, Connor, and it will result here on Nuke, or the result will be here on Nuke. North on the T side once again here, but we already saw what their streak was like in the previous. It's a fast outside wrap dropping in from hell, or heaven. Dragonfly, he's not going to be able to do a thing. Refresh does reposition, but Mixwell does get blindsided, and there's the trade right back. North staying grouped and staying in the man advantage.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, this is the second pistol round now on the T sides that we've seen them just put Mixwell at the forefront, right? And the rest of North behind him looking to clutch out the remainder of the round. And they've successfully trade-fragged their way into the B-bomb site, where Bubsky looks to get himself downwards. Unfortunately for him, by the time he arrives, he is completely alone. The bomb plant comes in through smoke. Bubsky's spotted and utterly doomed at this point because, well, they're all just clamping down upon him. Doors opening behind, shots from above, 6 bullets left. And 4 opponents means way too much to handle. So North taking the momentum from their first map win and extending it here into the pistol.
One of the big surprises as well was that North were able to run away with such a dominant T-side on train on a fairly CT-sided map. Now we're into another map that is known for its CT-sidedness, and North have already kicked it off on the T-side of Nuke. This is definitely a worrying sign for Fragsters, who got dominated once the momentum didn't go their way in that first half. And with North pulling up 3 rifles in that second round, plus Frags is not fully forcing, it does definitely hint towards this conversion being fairly clean cut. But let's see. MSL in the yard. He is alone in this one. Just showing his presence and falling back. Doesn't want to overface, but does catch a kill on his retreat. 12 HP, no way he should be pushing after that.
Yeah, he got his kill, right? Wash your hands and walk away. Try to avoid what is this A-site stack. We've got 3 players, 4 in here with a man up in the heaven above. That's Refresh with the scout, who could easily draw the attention, but unfortunately for Fragsters, North have decided to go elsewhere. MSL having thrown himself into the group of T's flooding through ramp, and AZ ejects down vents. So now all of that stack could either come down onto AZ or has to take a long time to rotate inwards. And even once they get to the B-bomb site, what the hell are they going to do about it? Deagles and a single unarmored scout. You call the save, you walk away, and you wash your own hands this time.
But the problem is with that is you're just letting North build up this economy early on. If you play for somewhat of an exit position, you can catch a couple of kills. Even if you're not saving rifles, just dropping North players here helps you out in the long run. It means it's easier to eventually push them to pistols once, or maybe should I say, if you start winning CT rounds. At least in the previous map, Fragsters were rarely on that board in the first half.
Yeah, so took them until what, the 13th round or 12th round?
Yeah,
even?
they took 2 of the last 3 rounds.
Yeah, so the 13th and the 15th were theirs. Hell, they even got reset in between, right, for icing on the cake.
And still managed to bounce back fair enough to death. Oof, hello. There's one at least. So a UMP picked up, not exactly a big loss for North, but every little helps. So now the next anti-eco, but it's still going to be as fearsome as the last here in terms of Fragsters having something to play with. They can drop that UMP over to an armored player. We've still got that scout, a couple of deagles, always dangerous, but this shouldn't be a problem for North.
See, where's Bubsky head? Remember, he's got Kevlar on this. He's inside of the A-bomb site, and that scout from Dragonfly is going to be outdoors. MSL playing the same position, and an additional smoke grenade will allow for the cross. Now, again, right, this creates a shroud of uncertainty. They're not quite sure how many players could have gotten past, unless Down did spot feet here. He did exchange a couple gunshots with MSL himself. Stown's going to try to get chased from behind, and there you have it. He finds MSL with his back turned, and suddenly there's a casualty on the board, and more importantly, an MP7 retrieved. And there's nobody there to punish that kill either. Remember, MSL is entirely alone outside. So they're going to apply some pressure towards ramp, figuring out where the rest of these CTs do stand. But AZ against creating space on the A side. He could eject down vents once more.
The problem is it's risk reward, right? If AZ goes down here, this could be a lost round for North. They could snowball out of control, but luckily enough, he finds that wall back frag. Bobsky trades with the UMP on the top of the hut, but he is solo, and no problem for North this dispatch of him eventually. Mixwell cleans up Dragonfly from the site, and just Torben left up. There's so little health on 2 of these players, but surely this clutch is undoable. Kiebi alive, and 3 rifles as well. They have crossfires, they have the site, and they have the round. 3-0 for North, and at least they keep 3 guns on.
Yeah, that's a sketchy situation though, right? 6 HP, 7 HP for 2 of the remaining 3. Well, indicator of things could have going differently. Unfortunately for Fragsters, that's all they're going to get. Damage, 2 kills. Hell, even the economic ramifications of dropping 4 bodies versus North would have been great, but here we go. We're into the bye. Dragonfly unarmored in his AWP, the glass cannon. It goes outside initially, but all of a sudden there's a lot of contact going down near these grenades, and well, Dragonfly could pick up a couple of kills, assuming he doesn't get flashed. There's a gap. But that said, it's going to be blind on the cross, and there's a lot of players now going down towards B.
And it's only been MSL doing this from time to time, so Frags just don't know how many players are down in this B site. They're about to work it out pretty quickly, but at the cost of a player, Stown already dead in the vents. North taking that early man advantage, and not only that, but taking the lower bomb site that Frags are pretty happy to give away, apart from Torben, who's committed and stuck in the corner as well, with Molotovs easily able to fly in, the nades and the bullets rain down, and Refresh has got to fall from above and try and find something, but the bomb plant just came in the nick of time. Frags are now up against a retake with no kids in play, but out of nowhere, 3 kills coming through. It's back to a 2-on-2. MSL caught in the door, and it's Kiebi to try and keep this round alive.
It's going to burn one into the open. That's an easy kill, swapping to the op to try and seal the deal, but this bomb's not planted for him. The bomb's not planted for him, and the Molotov's not going to spread despite not having a kick. Kierby needs to close this distance. It's down to just the 2 seconds, and he's got it. It is North to 4. Bodies all across the floor. The B site crumbles.
Why did he get off the bomb? There were 2 seconds left up. That's so worth the risk to stick it. Obviously, he wasn't to know exactly where Kierby was, but I think he probably would have won that round if he stuck the bomb. Again, if you scope him with the AWP that fast, it takes a split second just for the AWP to stabilize and become fully accurate. In that time, I think the defuse would have come through before Kiebi got the kill. Either way, hindsight, a 4th round for North, a strong start to this map. Frags is already being put down to pistols once again. We've seen this from time and time in train, and it's about as successful as the previous map.
Even last round, it didn't look good for Fragsters at all, but then there was just that sudden flurry of frags across the kill feed, right? 3 simultaneous deaths on the side of North. Helps that Refresh just kind of swoops in from the side of the scaffolding, but even then, things go south. What you doing up here? Just easy. Chilling. Working on his tan. It's a rooftop bar. It's not very fun for Fragsters.
Needs to make sure it doesn't fall through that roof. 5-0 here for North. The buy back in for Fragsters. Double up on the CT side of Nuke, fairly rare, but imagine seeing one of those towards the ramp and the other in the yard. Really the only orbable positions. You don't want to play it in the A site unless you're in heaven, and even then, that's optimistic. So Dragonfly straight into that garage. The main AWP here for the side of Fragsters as Refresh is going to pick up that secondary. And look at this ramp play. Valdi's just going to walk through the smoke. Torben was caught throwing utility out, so he's just got to duck, dive, and run down towards that B-bomb site. This now gives the option for a split towards Hell here for North, assuming Fragsters want to give them that control. But with the man advantage, Dragonfly attempts to retreat, and luckily enough for him, Kiebi cannot catch the timing.
Mixwell's going to be the only player to still linger around the bomb. Kierby's outside, and the other two Ts have worked their way down ramp. Trying to apply that B pressure, potentially trying to cause an additional rotation. But remember, Torben's just tucked away inside this corner. So he's going to have clear vision of the fact that nobody from the terrace has actually crossed over. The wrap back towards Heaven is still a liability, most certainly with Kierby in this position already. And Torben reveals himself now, cutting this down to the 4v3. On top of the damage that we've also seen from the CTs, this is looking good for them. But Mixwell up close is the next man to fall. And there is that Valda presence above. So the A site can be isolated, but who's going to go get bomb? Well, that falls onto Kierby. And he's distracted currently with the Vent player, who then creates Bubsky's position and kill.
Stown spotted Valdi up in heaven as well, so that's why these players can push back into main. And of course, the bomb being under the control is a further bit of information. A nice round taken for Fragsters. Finally, we're going to see their CT side actually start off with a roll. The problem is, again, North can find this reset, and they've got the money to do so. But at least we see Fragsters getting on the CT side early, of course, not in the 13th round of the half. And that was the case in Train, so with that in the back of our minds, and especially in the back of Fragsters' minds, they need to keep this rolling. They need to ramp up the pace, but North have already slowed it right down with a pause.
Yep. We saw this in the first map, right?
Yeah.
Making sure you're always at the top of your game.
Take into account, this is not a map that North frequent.
No.
We know Danish teams are fantastic at Nuke, and not to say that North aren't going to be somewhat prepared on this map, but this is one of their least played. You know, they haven't played this since summer. A few weeks ago, in fact, like a month almost. So there's always that. Fragsters have a little bit more recent experience on this map, and hopefully that'll be enough to drag them through. But we already know the not only depth of the tactics for North, but also the individual prowess that really did shine through on the T side of Train. Double AWP still here for Fragsters. Molotovs outside to deny smokes landing on their cross, but they've already come through. At least one has. There's the second. Got to be extinguished. Ooh, these nades. Nice bit of chip damage to AZ as well, but he'll throw out his utility to allow this cross, and that is always a problem, because now, again, Fragsters, they have no idea how many people are down B.
Last time they did smoke the cross entirely, it was like a 4-man cohort that was sent downwards. Dragonfly trying to clip heads outside. Has to be cautious. Can't get too tunnel visioned on this man, or else all of a sudden you're going to get re-peeked elsewhere. But luckily Stown's here to support him, right? It's going to remind him that if there was anybody who did head down towards B, they could not get the best of him. But here comes the frag blasting open the door. Stown being pressured from multiple directions, but he's going to lock this down until finally there's a little bit of a comeback, which does leave Mixwell alone and done for.
That all fails because of a flashbang. MSL flashes from that position down on the stairwell. He blinds two players up in main, both of them his teammates, and as a result, Stown kills both of them. He was pressured here, and he was getting shot from both Squeaky and main, but still finds both frags there due to that utility usage. Wait, was that through the wall? That wasn't even through the vents. Or was that someone else shooting? Maybe.
I don't know, man.
Spooky stuff, but yeah,
Witchcraft.
One flashbang just lost North that round. That was going to be perfect. They were going to kill Stown instantly. He would have been no problem. He was sandwiched between 3 different players, but you got to hit your utility.
So another North pause. Let's call a second, right? I'm sure they're hoping to just keep Fragsters in the same position that they were on Train, which was entirely out of the game until that 13th, 14th round. Obviously, they've already broke through with 2 on the board, but got a 3-point lead, nothing more than that. And we all know that the CT side of Nuke can definitely start to steamroll. But North have been here time and time again. However, unequipped in this round is 2 players here for North. AZ and MSL back onto the pistols.
Maybe a faster approach as well. They're all set up in the lobby, waiting for any aggression from Fragsters. Not going to be happening for the time being. Fragsters don't know exactly what North possess in this round in terms of weaponry, so they're going to be very careful in their approach. No aggression, just standard. And that is CT Nuke after all. You don't really have to take map control early on.
You also have to be careful when you're running a double op.
Yeah.
You don't want to get them inside of a bomb site. You don't want them to find any footing here. You are looking to shut them down as they round those first initial corners. If it's quick duels picked up by Fragsters, then the round should follow suit. But if North can find some sort of a burst onto this A site, which does look to be what they're setting up, things can get very scary.
Oh, Stown, he's smoked off. He can't help his teammate, but Bubsky's up top, flashed and falling. Refresh, again trading with the AWP, keeps the CT side in the man advantage, but not for too much longer. In this meantime, Stown's still smoked off, so he can't even have impact into this round. And it allows the bomb plant to come in and North to set up for the after plants.
No player in from heaven as Torben reveals his position. It's 2 men outside of Mini and 1 over towards the hut. MSL in a committed corner. Still has yet to get his hands onto a primary weapon, so Valda, with 2 kills already on the entry, has to lock this down on top of it. Unfortunately for him, he still has his attention turned above, and so Dragonfly just deletes him. That should have been right through the middle of the bomb site, so MSL emerges from the corner, only to then fall. Great plays from Dragonfly, and Torben takes the defuse.
Valdo was watching towards the wall to hide from any flashes popping out from heaven, because with the amount of time it took Fragsters to set up for that retake, he was waiting for a pop flash to come through.
Yeah, and I wonder if by looking upwards, because he was trying to predict the heaven peak, his gun may have been sticking over the metal sheet that covers the middle of that bomb site. No, it's just a clean through and through.
Yeah, still ridiculous shot from Dragonfly. Enables that retake and scoped up for the second. Means Fragsters are still in this one, Connor, and now North, they are throwing in a little bit of jazz. An AK, 4 pistols, a bit of a buy coming through here. It's gonna have to be something crazy coming through from Valdi to actually enable this round to be a win, but even a bomb plant and some damage would go a long way in the future. MSL already down on that B site, can I just add as well. This is going to be event split unless he climbs his way up to the A site, but Torben's heard him, so he is down on B, just trying to make sure he's there's no one near.
There's something going on with the smokes outside because that gap has been consistently made. So I haven't quite caught whether or not Fragsters are interrupting it, but I highly doubt North are just missing smokes. Or is it a part of the game plan, right? We've seen them flash through the gap. We've seen them fill it in with a third smoke. Yeah. There's been some plays going on out there that I'd like to go back and watch. Right now, down by 2, Valda emerges from the squeaky door with a headshot onto Stown first and foremost. Now, Bubsky's position could certainly catch a couple of players off guard, but he has to fall down into the bomb site, and then here he gets the best of him. Torben caught off of the ladder. This suddenly pushes all of the round onto Fragsters, who only have 2 ops still standing. This is a double op retake in a matter of seconds, and unfortunately for them, the first point of contact is a damage shot, but not the kill. Still, Dragonfly finds a little bit of footing and then roasts to the top of the heavens. Refresh needs to get this quick kill up close, but down he goes. North out of nowhere.
And it's that 1 AK from Valdi finding the entry that gets him into the bomb site after all. Despite being in a 3-on-5, they still pull it back and they still get that victory. This is North showing their ability to win almost any round. You can never count them out. The depth on this roster is ridiculous, and they are showing, or at least bringing, the heat here on Nuke. So, 6-3, a strong T side still held, and as a result of that, Connor, look at the money we have for Fragsters. Well, really not that much. A couple of rifles and a scout. No utility at all past 10 seconds into the round, apart from a smoke, and not even that kit for the post plant. The North have been so consistently getting down on that A. On site, Stown does climb up though, and he will topple too. Dropping a couple of players in the yard. Bubsky decides to get aggressive as well, but in the meantime, North know all this madness is outside, so they just take the A site. Yeah, they make the most of a situation, but unfortunately, they lose AZ, who was trying to retrieve that bomb. And then, just moments later, Fragster sweeps the board. So, good job by Stown there to create a 3v5 situation, not only because it's a double man advantage, but because it then forces the hand of North. You see how quickly they transition into the A hit, but not quite fast enough because of, again, leaving bomb behind. This kid's talented, not only being able to drop bodies with the taps, as we saw on Train, but he's got a great spray control as well, and I think he's very diverse in using rifles and ops. If Stown doesn't break into like an even higher tier of Danish CS in the next couple of years, I'll be shocked. The thing is, I think they're trying to do the AGO thing. Stick with this team, don't make roster changes, and find success, and that's definitely a good idea. I'd be actually kind of worried if not worried, but upset if this Fragsters roster didn't stay the same regardless of their outcome here in Valencia. But for now, Torben He's bringing the pain down in the lower B site. Kievi's picked up a rifle. His teammates doing the work as well, locking down that door. And Torben with 2. Refresh, a similar story. And Fragsters, again, on the board.
See, now this is what I think we started to see on Train, but it just came way too late, which was Fragsters starting to ramp up a little bit of momentum. You know, you think back to that. Well, there was multiple clutch rounds from Valda that should have never happened on the CT side of Fragsters. There was instances whereby they could have gotten into the game, but it was just North so consistently shutting out any real opportunity with ridiculous individual plays, whether that be quick entries or whether that be crucial late round clutches. Now we've seen Fragsters get on the board much earlier on, despite having gone down to a very fast flurry of rounds from North at the start of the game. And it's the anti-ecos, it's the double off retakes. Like, we're moving forward here for Fragsters. They're back in control of the situation on their own map pick. And if they get through this, Hugo, if they manage to win map 2, then we're moving on to Dust 2, where magic and anything can happen.
Yeah, they say Inferno is the best way to finish off a best-of-3 series, but I think in this one, Dust 2 would be an absolute banger. But let's just remember, Connor, this is still early days. 6-6, North on the least favored side have pretty much done their job. Anything on top of here is just the icing on the cake. But of course, North, they got a sweet tooth. AK's on all, AWP back on Dragonfly, not that double AWP here for Fragsters. But with no AWP for the side of North, that's probably a saving grace, and Dragonfly's already going to open up down on B.
That's completely new. We haven't seen an AWP positioned over towards Secret Stairs.
Yeah.
And MSL had never rounded the boxes, so they really wanted to make that first contact with the player on top of Twinkie. And you saw him trying to challenge men over towards Garage or so, right? It was not expecting that right side angle whatsoever. And instead of repositioning Dragonfly elsewhere, he's just going to be utilized as an anchor here towards Stairs. It gives him the ability to fall back into very quick cover, but also the possibility of going for an upwards peak. That was close. Stown nearly caught by MSL, who will continue to lurk over towards Hell. They need to wait for him to get into position, but in the meantime, they're losing bodies still. MSL can swing this back. We've seen him win crucial rounds, and turning around at that moment will certainly help.
So an opportunity here, but North are going to still have to pull back this disadvantage. That will be perfect. Mixwell and Valdi both grab a kill, and out of absolutely nowhere, it's just Stalin left. Although we saw his clutches on Train, and maybe he can do it again. He has got the bomb under his control, but they're both moving in at the same time. He spots one. No idea where the second man is, but these footsteps are going to make it very, very clear. Stalin trying to catch the timing, trying to catch the kills, and he's found the first, spots the second, and dives back in. There it is. 4 kills for Stalin, saving it for Fragsters, and this is the X factor for this Danish roster.
Yeah, most certainly. Heavier hitter. A sigh of disbelief from MSL. That's certainly something they could have won, but very good positioning there from Stown in order to isolate those 2 separate kills. He sees the feat here from AZ, and think about that initial timing that unfolds inside of Mini. MSL could have killed Stown for absolutely free if he had only peeked around that corner half a second sooner. And that comes back to bite him, because Stown will win the clutch, and Fragsters take the pause, cool things off, and let North stew in that disbelief.
16 years old, and he's schooling guys who've been playing this for years. Ridiculous amount of talent we have in this country. And of course, with 3 Danish teams making their way to the semi-finals here in Valencia, that's a great example. In fact, all 3 Danish teams that came into this event.
And a Brazilian one. If that doesn't say something, right? Fantastic talent starting to establish themselves at the second tier of these countries. And we've spoken about how Brazil hasn't necessarily had that second runner for quite some time since the Immortals. Well, all of a sudden we're getting that, you know, get together of the Immortals core here on Luminosity, and certainly they've turned heads, but this is the Danish Derby.
Ooh, careful. Deagles for North. An optimistic round for them to win here in the 14th of the half. Got a bit of money. Just waiting for that loss bonus to culminate, because again, look at the score. It has been 4 rounds in a row for Frags, as they have been making waves here on the CT side after a strong start from North, and now these Ts are going to smoke the outside yard, try and make that commitment out. Maybe we'll see if this gap in the smoke is prevalent once again. The Molotov holds them off, and yes, again, the gap in the smoke. But that's not Frags countering it, because that was so late in the round that it wasn't their early Molotovs that we've seen in the past. North maybe missing smokes.
So still leads this charge down towards ramp. Torben to reposition. Now we've seen him hold a different angle up in the top of the control room, never down here in this side. So the first man's caught off guard, and he even gets the second. The third a little too strong, but AZ, he has consistently lingered towards this door. And at a moment's notice, he could just blast his way outwards, trying to catch rotations down. However, look at the man outside of Vents. That's Stown trying to clear inwards. Kierby trying to come up and join AZ, but flanks upon flanks. 3 upon 1, turn 2. Kierby gets feet in his face. Not a problem. Oh, he's got to plant the bomb. Takes a little too long, but regardless, it's in.
The flash is up. Stown's just trying to waste time, trying to work out exactly where Kierby is positioned. And he will go into main. This is a very good post plant as well. They will not expect this potentially because I don't think Stown caught him on the cross. And so now Stown just waiting for his teammate, knowing that his choke is a very, very hard position to move out of, and they are doubled up, but do they check the corner? That's a question. Kierby lets it pass 1 by 1. He finds us first. So much damage to refresh as well. The flash is over the top, but Kierby avoids it, and he goes 1 step ahead. North will win a pistol round to find their 7th.
You want to talk about young talent with clutch potential? Well, there's one straight back for you, Fragsters. Kierby, excellently played. I love the way that he's able to get himself over towards the mini, and that looked painful. Dragonfly. First of 3 to fall. Because even that bomb plant, to me, it screams that he's standing outdoors, not in this back cubby corner. And because of the box there, you either have to jump over top of it as a CT or around it, which exposes your back to him. So it's a position that not only gives him cover, but also forces his opponents into the open. Really smooth there. Remember that one, folks.
Now, as a result of winning that, not only do North have everything they want in terms of rifles and utility, but Fragsters barely have anything. They've got the guns, but they've not got anything behind it. No AWP that's been so important at finding this early frag, as we've seen from Dragonfly.
I think it's Mixwell throwing the second smoke.
Ah, that would be why.
It would make sense. It's not North's fault, it's his.
we can't blame him. We can't blame him.
Of course
It's been a while. Either way, somehow Fragsters will find that man advantage. The early SMG dropping 1, but that's awkward. Torben gets traded straight away with only damage to Mixwell, but it is a lot of damage. It now creates an opening. Problem is, you know what else is open? The B site.
Open and closed thanks to North. There's not much chance except for Stown to come back into this, and well, he's now revealed himself, so they know what's up. But where's this bomb? Seems to have worked its way onto the site. All right, Kierby gets here eventually. He's going to plant within the shroud of smoke. Mixwell, 12 health. Certainly a liability up close. And Valda's looking to draw the attention towards him, so Mixwell can just close-range blindside somebody. But a good Molotov predicts the position. Not that it gets much done. It falls beneath. And then Bubsky, despite getting 1 kill, is also toppled. Refresh the next. And just barely does he stay alive. A single point of health will make the difference. 10 seconds on the defuse, because Dragonfly's the man with the kit, and Kierby swings these doors wide open. Just as MSL will strike, the pinch is perfect. Kierby, in another 1v1, gets an easy frag on the last. And so North establish a single-point lead as we move to their CT side.
And again, that's, you know, a closer half for sure. Yes, Fragsters now have an opportunity. This is really nice to see, but 8 rounds on the T side of Nuke. North have brought the heat here to map number 2, even though it is the pick of the CT side, or it is the Fragsters side. And now we're going to have to see what tricks up their sleeve on the T side. Again, very reliant on the pistol, as always, when you're so close. Fragsters would love that free lead, but North have been pretty good on pistols so far this event.
Especially as seeing as that pistol is what definitely allowed for North to establish early momentum, right? Yeah. They win 3 separate individual rounds, the 2 of the last 3, and then 1 smack dab in the middle, which was offset by an economic reset thanks to Fragsters. So if it wasn't for that 5-0 start from North, they'd be working with much less than that they have. If Fragsters cannot mirror that strong start, then you know the advantage belongs here. The Roaring Lions.
Into the second half we go. At the end of this one, it's either going to be North heading to the grand finals with a 2-0 victory, or it's going to be Fragsters heading home. Or, alternatively, we could see Dust 2, which I think is probably a far more interesting situation. However, can Fragsters bring us there? We've got utility on Torben, no kit on the CT side. They've prioritized the armor on 4, and MSL, he loves a good CT from time to time. And flashes outside, Torben going to work his way down towards B, but with only a single smoke, he gets spotted. Only 1 player spotted, though, and that's fine, because now it's going to enable them to go for the B split through ramp. And that's exactly where the bomb is poised. It also means 1 North player has to rotate off of A and be aware of this lower flank. And Mixwell, he's going to get aggressive, but this might not work out for him.
Pop flash through, then man goes in. Stound's able to then clear 2 thanks to his position inside of Mini, and as he swaps over to the USP now, he can deal with Heaven, but no need. Bubsky's already dropped Valda from above. So the last 2 remaining North players are looking to split between both Mini and Heaven, so it seems. Mixwell takes the high ground, Kierby the low. Nobody's presenting themselves. Fragsters not going to overface here, waiting for North to start making their move, and as they do so, both CTs will die. Fragsters have got the pistol. Now they need to move forward with conversions.
That's such a sick pistol round for Fragsters. I've not seen that one before, and it's all down to the fact that North don't rotate a player down towards B once they see Torben go through the secret. Instead, they have Mixwell on ramp, just watch that push up for any kind of flank. But no, Torben flashes his way through vents while also opening the B lower doors to distract North from what was actually happening. And the fact that Fragsters were even holding for the ramp aggression early on with the bomb as well definitely hinted towards some kind of fake, but no. Now we see Fragsters with a chance to pull this game back into their favor, but AZ wants nothing to do with it. He's already opened up, Valdi to trade, and Stound trying to grab this gun off the floor, but it's blocked by a flashbang, the classic bug, coming back to haunt him. Luckily enough, they can't secure it, but oh, AZ, he's gone for a complete pocket pick, grabbed the AK, retreated to the A site, Refresh runs out and drops him, luckily enough, but that could have been a nuisance.
Yeah, that is a flubbed opportunity. Good on AZ to get his hands on it, but Refresh seals the deal. Final 2 kills are his. He was on damage control and he did a great job of doing so. It's very dangerous when you try to get out of that squeaky door, because if you have players above you on hut and they have CZ-75s, close range automatic gunfire, never fun to face. But now it's time for Fragsters to have a little fun. USPs alone here for North should not be enough to get anything accomplished. They're just going to play together, a single unit in the form of North. Fragsters head outdoors.
I mean, a stack is all you can hope for here for North. An attempt to group up and put the pain in with those pistols. But because of a stack, it leaves so much of the map uncovered by the CT side. It allows Fragsters to wrap out. Easily able to push in through Heaven as well, which creates further problems for North. More positions they can't handle, and they can't handle Dragonfly right now. He's just dropped 2 in the yard, moving into A. Stound gets overwhelmed by 1 USP, but there's the Heaven split finally coming through. And Fragsters, from all angles, attack that A site. Kierby gets a gun, but there's no way he's getting out of this one alive.
He was so screwed.
Yeah.
Beyond belief. So, move forward yet again. Fragsters back in with a lead, thanks to a pistol and clean conversion. I think I heard a pause. I believe North still have a couple to use. They did call 2 very early in their first half. The moment Fragsters won rounds, in fact, is when they started to try and get re-established.
And now we really get to see the depth of this T side for Fragsters, right? We already saw a very intricate pistol round that was obviously reliant a lot on North not knowing what was going on and having no information of that vent split from Torben, but with stuff like that up their sleeve, little ingenuities from Fragsters, I have a feeling that we're going to see quite an explosive T-side in terms of strategy, and obviously the hard hitters are still coming to play. Stound sitting at 18 kills, Dragonfly close behind, and here's the buy coming through for North. We've got guns, we've got no AWP yet, but Stound's already hunting for a kill outside A.
Smoke wall is good to get Dragonfly back behind Garage. Kierby may not have heard this just yet. No, absolutely not, but he still stands and he's able to get a kill onto Torben. Had he just died a moment sooner, then we would still have an additional T and it would be 4v4. But instead, North have themselves a slight advantage. Fragsters are left picking up the pieces. Valda punished for his creep through smoke. Refresh walks away.
Fragsters is going to be happy with that opportunity to pull things back after an awkward battle outside onto Kierby. They do still have a lot of map control. Bubsky's dropped another player as well. That's AZ going down on that A site through Squeaky. So now it already looked like it was going to be a bit of a B split, but that might throw a spanner in the works. Mixwell has wormed his way up through ramp, and there's Bubsky walking out through. So the trade is back in for North. We're in a 2-on-2. MSL still anchors this A site, and they're about to walk right into him, but he turns around. They will spot him, and he spots both.
So key from MSL, making the most of that forward blue box. It keeps him alive on a smidgen of health. It looked like timing was going to be his demise.
Yeah,
that would have
how
been
does he get that?
so tilt-inducing, but he's managing to hang on. Good work there with that tap onto Dragonfly. Headshot to refresh. A lot of kills coming in that 3v3 situation from just mid-round walking contact, right? Valda punished inside of Mini. Mixwell gets the kill towards ramp. But then it does fall onto MSL, and he certainly stands up in the situation.
While MSL isn't really the top fragger, he doesn't need to be, obviously. It's nice to see him have impact in these such important rounds. Back on train,
exactly.
He picked up 3 kills on the CT side in the first round that North actually won, that eventually closed the game after a couple later. Here and now, right as Fragsters are potentially about to run away with a dominant T-half, MSL wins a round in which North only have rifles with no utility, and boom, now we have it back in. Now we have a real game on our hands. 10-9. Both teams armed to the teeth, and the AWP in the hands of Dragonfly.
An exchange of grenades outside here. An alternative wall of smokes thrown out here from Fragsters. It gives them a little bit more space to work around the red box. Mixwell needs to be cautious. He is completely sectioned off from everybody else on his team. And he knows it. So he does go downwards into safety, welcoming them in. Because now he has AZ over the shoulder. And Valda, well, he's going to dodge shots over here towards Hell. Another one of these weird long-range positions, very similarly to that which MSL used in the previous round to clutch. Sure enough, catches 2 off guard. Monkey see, monkey do.
There's even Torben still here, so Valda might not be done with 2. Still stuck outside main, though, and he's so focused on his player wrapping him, he doesn't realize he's being flanked from another. Mixwell coming out of the depths of below. It's going to take North up to 10 now, double digits for both sides, and as a result, the money for Fragsters, that's when it's going to be crushed.
That was really nice, actually, because we see North make this contact outside. Whoa. Snakes and ladders. But we see this contact from North outside, and then with Mixwell retreating downwards, AZ comes to help. So now they're with 2 players inside the secret stairs. They can turn up the heat and go aggressive, just like Fragsters are going to try to do in this round, because they've already got a player down vent. And with the way that North just clamped down on every single player last round, something of beauty. But now, even despite the plant, you're going to see this rotation downwards from the CT side, and they're clearing everybody out of the equation. 5 men from North do stand, and an 11th round is theirs.
That's a surprise to not see North try and stop that plant coming in. I assume with the new vent change, we'd see a lot less vent dives, and that has been the case, because obviously now you can't just dive out into the B site. The ramp player, if knowing that someone's dropped down vents, is going to get there before you. You have to run out back through decontamination. So somehow Stown gets a bomb plant there, pretty ridiculous. But with Fragsters only spending $300 per player, that's a net profit. That's more money to work with, and the loss bonus would have been enough anyway. So we do have this buy coming through here, and that's why we have a tactical pause. 1 remaining after this. And still quite a few rounds left to find, so Fragsters are going to need to make use of these 30 seconds.
What's the solution? We saw North calling these kinds of pauses just as their T side started to slip away. We'll see what they have in terms of solutions. Dragonfly's got his op, 4 AKs around it. No sniper on the opposite side, but hell, they've got AKs too. Little freebies, an indicator of the economic growth here from North. They're trying to block the smoke grenades, and they've even wrapped a man into the side of secret stairs. But here's the secret, Hugo. There's nobody there. Fragsters have gone entirely indoors.
The thing is, the smokes from Fragsters are meant to confuse North and make them think that maybe there's someone down B, but now that North have got aggressive, okay, yeah, they don't find a kill, but the information, knowledge is power, and they know that no one's outside, so this take is definitely going to be a commitment. North are ready for it. AZ getting burnt down, the flashes are through, he's stuck in the Molotov, and he's going to get dropped. MSL's the only defender left on the site, the rest of his team smoked and mollied out of position. MSL diving back in for more, and that's a second, maybe a third, but Valdi steals it from his clutches. Doesn't matter. A round's a round and a kill's a kill, and North are only 2 away from finding their 12th.
Excellent play from MSL there. You saw him just pinning himself into the corner, welcoming in the T's, but once nobody moved past, he still had the audacity to go forward with his kills. So he took the play into his own hands, and now North are taking this round by storm. Torben, the only man up, is then quickly swept away. 4 frags for MSL. You said it yourself, Hugo. The kills aren't always plentiful, but when they come in, they are impactful. 2 rounds that he has now single-handedly won.
The kills are plentiful. He's top fragging. 19 frags on MSL after that round.
Hot damn. All right.
Not too bad. Valley's obviously joining him there at the top, but this is not what you typically see from MSL. Pretty fantastic to come through in the second map when North were looking to struggle. He has now turned 2 important rounds their way. The vent dive this time won't work out, but luckily the bomb is actually going outside with a full smoke wall, so Fragsters will have control down towards B. And we've already seen North very, very late to rotate down towards his site. So AZ, a bit of a surprise this time, and he dives in through the vents. Does drop the bomb and try to escape, but caught by Dragonfly with the P250. Now a couple of kills taken, and a couple of guns retrieved.
Yeah, but Valda's not letting off the pressure. He gets right into the side of Bubsky. Should have just spotted a smidgen of an angle. But that cannot afford to get him so tunnel vision because that's what he expected. Nice bait out. He just taps and sure enough, the peak is punished. Refresh denied. And it is North yet again. They have certainly got this thing established. This is just screaming similarities back to Train. The only difference is that Fragsters were able to establish somewhat of a half in the opening 15. Now what's happened? They win the pistol, they start off with the 3-0, and since then it has been North alone to pick up these defensive rounds. Another pause in the last of their 4. Fragsters, they need to find the solution here or they're gonna have to do it on the fly.
And North trying to show that they are the better Danish team here. That was never really a question mark, but it was Fragsters' chance to maybe throw a question mark in our minds. A spanner in the works, perhaps, but North not giving it to them. The tools kit is shut. 13-10, only a couple more rounds need to be found by North to drag themselves to the grand finals here at DreamHack Open Valencia. And things are looking up here for the current CT side. Dragonfly attempts to find a pick outside, but it's a very passive position from Kierby at the back of the garage. The AWP supporting from heaven. So that's just watching the cross, but Fragsters is setting up smokes. That is a heaven smoke actually coming out from Refresh.
Well, his grenades might be going to heaven, but he's going outdoors. And I don't think we've seen this position from Mixwell do anything just yet. He might catch them off guard, and if he doesn't catch them off guard, then the player towards Big Garage will, but Refresh extends unnecessarily around that corner. He could have gotten into the same position without exposing himself, and now here comes Kierby, right? We talk about that 1-2 punch between him and Mixwell. And the sniper still stands with a player just beneath him. Bubsky's looking to unroot either of the two, but he's not necessarily been given a chance, and he still has to be wary of both sides. So, with the first kill, it's quickly traded. Mixwell fast on the fingers, and rapid in his response. It's crucial that he gets that kill because it's what maintains this single man advantage. Fragsters still left to pick up the pieces in the flashbang high. Oh, it's meant to set up AZ, but Stown denies his chance, and then he's punished by Mixwell regardless. So Torben's gonna have to clutch. This isn't a name we've seen in these situations. He could have just easily gone down vent, but instead Mixwell leaves him fully splayed out on the floor. 14 for North. And what could be a 2-0 semi-final.
That's a very blasé attempt there. Opening the door, you know that's going to be heard, and then actually trying to take the fight to Mixwell and Heaven, who you've already seen. Very optimistic, I would say. So great round from Mixwell. 4 kills in that one with the AWP. One of the first times we've actually seen him on the CT side with that weapon. And now look at Fragsters. They are digging deep. No bomb plant in the previous season with no utility, but a fast A play seems to be the trick up their sleeve. But apparently North are ready for it. Already a frag or 2 coming in. It's instant trades from Fragsters that keep them in this one. But utility coming back for North to try and fight back. They don't want to give it away without a fight. Valde will be putting up a fight. 2 from him. The trade's there, but the round is not. It's North on 15, shutting down the A play. Yeah,
at this point, they're just suffocating Fragsters. They're not giving them any room to work with. MSL was lucky to stay alive in order to get that 1 kill, because it took just that extra moment longer. So all the attention from Fragsters was still up and above. Valde just slips in the tongue, and he picks up all those kills. 5 points now, the difference. Fragsters, tournament life on the line. They cleared the groups 2-0. That was first done by a European qualified team 1 event ago. Imperial 2-0'd their group and then soared into the finals, only dropping a single map at the event. Well, now looks like Fragsters are dropping out of this event. They cannot do what their predecessors did. Not yet, that is. Mixwell opening up shop yet again. We're starting to see all of the stars shine. Dragonfly giving chase to the wind, because suddenly this CT has disappeared, as has 2 of his teammates. The scout shot's great to drop Kierby. The spinal tap's fantastic, but AZ still maintains the man advantage. And these T's are split, so it's going to have to be individual plays to get them back into this. And the last time we saw this creep and crawl, well, North came out on top.
Valde, he's ready for it. Bubsky's going down towards that B site, and it's just refresh. The only positive is the fact that he has the bomb and the time, but it's a small consolation. North, one kill away from finding this victory. AZ spotted him, and there it is. North will be in the grand finals of DreamHack Open Valencia.
The Danish Derby in our first semi, and they will get themselves on top. 3 of 4 semi-finalists, all hailing from Denmark. And unfortunately for them and their countrymen, one of these teams had to go home, but it is the experience and the higher skill ceiling of North that keeps them in this game. Great effort from Fragsters regardless, and I would say that for the most part they were in this series except for that opening 15 rounds. A slow start, but remember back on train we started to see these players from Fragsters step up, most notably Stown in multiple rounds, whether that be winning clutches or at least popping heads, and because of that there is still something to praise. But a slow start on train is what cost them, and we saw a little glimmer of hope in the first 15 of Nuke, Hugo, but hope is not enough. You need the win. Today, they just won't have it.
It's really nice to see Mixwell having a fantastic game as well. 18 kills at the end of that one, obviously in front of the home crowd here in Spain. The new stand-in for North has really brought the heat, and I'm excited to see that. So let's see what our analysts have to say about that matchup. Guys, it was a pretty incredible second map. What do you think?
Yeah, you know, even reflecting back to the first one, really wasn't such a wheel turner there if you're on the Fragster side. It did seem like North just basically had control of the entire situation there. Flipping the script over to Nuke, what do we got, boys?
Well, that's where I thought, you know, where they could have actually had a chance, but the fact of the matter was they couldn't lock down on the T side, just off trades and individual skill, clutches coming in galore for that of the North roster for over both maps. I think the tone was set early on train. I'm glad that Fragsters were able to put a couple of rounds on the board when they did switch over towards that T side, but the fact of the matter was, I think if you look at the statistics for this, they're losing a lot of situations that should never be happening, right? Valde with that 1v3 situation on train, it felt like time and time again North were just pulling out these rounds, and that's with the pedigree. That's where I guess the grade of the North players compared to the youngsters of Fragsters really stood out. I don't think it was the big brother syndrome which I highlighted. I think they just got outclassed.
I think like just looking at this highlight right now from Valde, right? It was an interesting win from North. It wasn't like they outclassed them when it comes to it tactically, so to speak, right? But it was just huge individual plays. You see Valde and AZ having 40 kills combined in the first half of this map, right? And then on going over to Nuke, you had MSL dropping almost, I think, 20 kills on the CD side. Then you had Kirby clutching, I think, 3 1v3 scenarios or something like that. Something mental on the T side. So it's more than anything else. So everyone on this lineup on the North roster showing up that they can actually shoot heads better than these guys.
Props to Starvin. He had a couple of good clutches of his own there to try and keep the boys in it. But look, I think when you're going up against a team who you look up to and you've respected for a long period of time, and they're definitely not going to give you any, that's what I touched on in the early stages, the mental game, the mental side of things. And it just wasn't to be for the Fragsters guys today, unfortunately, just getting blown out again in another DreamHack Open semi-final.
Getting blown out for sure, banged out for long term. Of course, if we look at these numbers, this is from Nuke itself, but if we go across the entirety of this best of 3, Valde rocking 111 ADR. Well, that's plus 24 on his KD.
Pretty nice.
A little wild. And speaking of Valde, we're actually going to have a chance to talk to Valde. And, yep, oh, there it is. Hey, what's up, my guy? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Where should we kick this one off?
I want to start with the Nuke pick. Were you expecting them to go with that map?
Yeah, for sure.
So you've done some preparation on that?
Yeah, definitely. I remember the last time we played them at the Star Series event. They also picked Nuke against us, and it was a 16-14 game, so we definitely felt that they were going to pick Nuke because they knew it would be the map that they had the most chance on. So, yeah, definitely expected the Nuke pick.
Okay, my question would be the one which I didn't ask about, be the train pick, right? Like, this is a map that many teams, you guys were looking pretty solid yesterday on it, but this is a map which many teams do tend to pick against Fragsters, and, you know, they find out that, oh, you know, it was a big mistake. Were you pretty comfortable going into this on that train pick?
Yeah, even though they won against VP 16-1, we didn't actually put too much into that victory. We saw the game and we felt pretty confident that we could exploit some of their mistakes, and yeah, we just knew that our playstyle would fit the way they play. So I think we surprised them with the train pick, but we were like going in with full confidence and we knew exactly what to do, and we fortunately executed the game plan just perfectly. So yeah.
Was there a disrespect factor in there? Because when I'm watching you in these clutch situations, the 1v3s, you look extremely dialed in. It's like, I know every decision I'm going to make is right, and you were just winning these scenarios that most people should never have any chance of clutching. How were you feeling in those situations?
Of course, we're always confident. I don't think we ever lost a map against them, and we didn't plan on doing so today. So, yeah, we had full confidence, and it was all about getting the 2-0.
Okay, and my last question would be, many of the rounds which you guys won, yes, it was a very convincing victory. Nuke, not so much, but if you look at most of the rounds you won and the way you won it, it came down to a lot of individual heroics, right? Like you yourself, you had KFB, you had MSL also having some huge moments on CD side Nuke. It's going to be a little trickier to rely on that, especially against the other finalists. Could be Heroic, could be Luminosity, both look dangerous. Could this be a worrying factor that you were winning a lot of these rounds based off individual heroics?
Yeah, I guess you could say so, but since we're playing with a stand-in and we didn't get a single map of practice with Mixwell before the event, we can't really rely too much on team plan tactics. Most of it is going to be on the fly stuff, and we only had like a few minutes to put him into all the tactics before the game, so it's what it is, and yeah, we just have to go with it, and so far it's working pretty well.
Hey, if it works, it works.
Yeah, if it works, you shouldn't reinvent it. And I got one last question. We're going to let you go.
Sure.
The silver lining is this: what would you say about this team of up-and-comers of Fragsters now that you guys have came out victoriously over them?
I want to say to them that they just need to stay together and keep working. When we play against them, we can definitely feel that they have the talent. They just need to maybe play a bit more calm, but that will come with experience. So I'm sure if they will keep on grinding, they'll be a team to really look out for in the future. So, yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Valde. Some wise words right there. Congratulations. We will be seeing you in the grand finals later on. And with that, it would appear as though the Fragsters had an impossible task. They had literally Mission Impossible right here. Speaking of Mission Impossible, there's a new installment of that series coming out, Mission Impossible Fallout. I think, Chad, you got something you want to add to that one?
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. Wasn't the best. Wasn't the worst.
Okay.
All right. Well, Chad, put down the air guitar, and we're going to be, I guess, taking a break here real shortly. It was a hell of a series there, but ultimately North did come out the victor, and they will be your first grand finals here at the DreamHack Open Valencia. We're going to be going to a quick break. We come back. We've got your second semifinal of the day. Heroic trying to see if they can lock this one in over a Luminosity who were looking red hot yesterday. We'll be right back, so don't go anywhere.